Welcome to Darnley's Cyber Cafe. Welcome back to Darnley's Cyber Cafe, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and digital privacy discussions. Today, I have an interesting, shocking article concerning data breaches, one that affects some of the most sensitive and biological personal data imaginable. Recently, the Termite ransomware gang has claimed responsibility for stealing nearly a terabyte, about 1,000 gigabytes, of confidential information from Genea, one of Australia's largest fertility service providers. So, what exactly went missing? How did hackers manage to access this data? What are the long-term consequences for those affected? And just how dangerous could this stolen information become in the future? Especially for something in regards to in vitro fertilization, let's break it down. Genea, which operates 22 fertility clinics across Australia, confirmed that the hackers stole an extensive range of sensitive information, including personal details like full names, email addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, emergency contacts, and next of kin. They also took government and health records, such as Medicare card numbers, private health insurance details, defense DA numbers, patient and medical record numbers. Medical history was also compromised, including diagnoses, treatments, prescriptions, pathology reports, doctor's notes, appointment schedules, and much more. Embryo storage and treatment details were stolen too, encompassing information related to IVF cycles, embryo storage status, fertility test results, and details on assisted reproductive treatments. Additionally, donor and genetic data were taken, including records of sperm and egg donors, genetic screening results, and family medical histories. Staff records were not spared either, with employee information, professional credentials, HR documentation, and internal communications all exposed. Although no financial data like credit card or banking details were reported stolen, the depth of exposed medical and identity-related information makes this breach particularly severe. If you want to consider the details of the information that was stolen, this could be a bigger problem for those poor souls who were involved in the breach. The attackers exploited a vulnerability in Genea's Citrix server, an entry point that allowed them to infiltrate the company's primary file server, domain controller, backup program, and BabySentry patient management system. From there, they exfiltrated a staggering 940.7 gigabytes of data to a DigitalOcean cloud server under their control. This breach wasn't discovered until 2 weeks after the initial intrusion, giving the attackers ample time to extract high-value patient data. While Genea has since taken legal steps to prevent the leaked data from spreading further, the damage has already been done. What sort of risks do you think is the biggest issue here? I have a laundry list of issues, but sometimes you have to go beyond the headlines. News stories like this can go over the heads of most, as most of us are not affected by these incidents. As each month rolls on by, the data you have stored online, or that someone else has stored, will eventually get leaked and will get used against you and your loved ones. The future is never guaranteed for anybody, nor is the likelihood of this data being used against you. Again, if this story does not affect you, I am sure at one point in time, something will. Here are some of the risks based on this latest breach: identity theft and fraud. With names, birth dates, and Medicare numbers exposed, bad actors could use this information for identity fraud, opening accounts, or filing fraudulent insurance claims. Medical identity theft. Cybercriminals could misuse medical records to obtain prescription drugs, commit insurance fraud, or sell fake medical identities on the dark web. Blackmail and extortion. Given the deeply personal nature of IVF treatments, affected individuals could become targets for extortion. Threat actors may demand ransom payments in exchange for keeping medical histories private, especially with biological data. This can be used even at a future date. Emotional and psychological harm. Knowing that one's fertility treatments, genetic testing, results, and private medical history are in the hands of criminals could cause immense stress and anxiety for patients. Some parents may be embarrassed or will cause some emotional distress in discussing with their children about where they came from. Employment and insurance risks. Employers and insurance companies may use leaked medical histories to make hiring or policy decisions, potentially discriminating against individuals based on their health conditions or genetic predispositions. Manipulation and targeted scams. Fraudsters could use the exposed information to craft highly personalized social engineering attacks, tricking individuals into revealing further sensitive data or making payments under false pretenses. The stolen data holds significant long-term value for cybercriminals, providing them with a wealth of exploitable information that can be leveraged for various malicious activities over time. This breach extends beyond immediate threats, as the sensitive nature of medical and genetic data makes it particularly difficult to neutralize or replace. Unlike financial data, which can often be secured through card replacements or fraud alerts, personal health records and genetic information are permanent, opening the door to prolonged risks, evolving cyber threats, and unforeseen consequences for those affected. Dark web sales. Hackers can sell stolen health records in underground marketplaces where they fetch a much higher price than credit card details due to their permanent nature. Here are some examples. Phishing and social engineering attacks. Armed with this level of personal detail, scammers can craft highly targeted phishing emails, posing as healthcare providers or insurance companies. Long-term privacy violations. Unlike passwords that can be reset, medical records and genetic data are permanent. The implications of this breach could follow individuals for years, if not decades. This includes the parents and children of these treatments. Genetic privacy concerns. As genetic data becomes increasingly integrated into medical treatments and ancestry tracking services, leaked genetic information could be used in unauthorized research, identity fraud, or even genetic discrimination. Criminal exploitation of donor anonymity. The leak of donor and genetic data may compromise sperm and egg donors, potentially leading to legal and ethical complications for both donors and recipients. Corporate espionage and biotech misuse. In a competitive fertility and genetic research market, stolen data could be leveraged for industrial espionage or unauthorized experimentation in biotechnology firms across the globe. This breach is another stark wake-up call about the fragile state of cybersecurity in healthcare. When a trusted provider like Genea, responsible for some of the most intimate and life-changing medical data, falls victim to cybercriminals, it's a chilling reminder that no one is immune. Patients entrust these institutions with their most personal information, believing it to be safe. Yet this trust has been shattered. These examples are shown again and again. Unfortunately, I don't think these breaches will end anytime soon. For organizations, this isn't just about compliance or avoiding fines. It's about safeguarding real people from lifelong consequences. Healthcare providers must rethink their approach, making cybersecurity as much of a priority as patient care itself. That means stronger defenses, proactive risk assessments, continuous staff training, and rapid response mechanisms to shut down threats before they spiral out of control. The stakes couldn't be higher. This is about protecting not just data, but lives, present and future. For individuals, the best course of action is to stay vigilant. Monitor your medical insurance records, watch for suspicious emails, and consider freezing your Medicare or health insurance credentials if you've been impacted. I do feel for those affected as someone who has seen countless businesses and individuals impacted from the threats of attacks. Seeing small businesses fail due to the financial loss of a cyber attack, or individuals who get their identity stolen and have to embrace the ride. For anything such as medical records, personal information, our privacy cannot always be guaranteed. As there are many proactive measures we can take now, there is never a guarantee. This is why my line of work is so difficult. Some days it is hard for me to accept the inalienable truths of this job. At the end of the day, we all need to focus on our cyber awareness and become more aware of the things we can do to protect our data. Sure, Genea completely dropped the ball here, and I hope other IVF institutions can use this as a big wake-up call in checking their infrastructures, but also those who rely on this service demand that their data is secured correctly or have legal provisions in place to safeguard their data now and into the future. Will this be enough? Will it ever be enough? These are the very questions I strive to get answers for. Well, that's it for this episode of Darnley's Cyber Cafe. If you found this discussion valuable, don't forget to subscribe and invite a friend to our cafe. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.